Some people are really inconsiderate. Look what my neighbour's done. She's put a load of bags here to completely block the lane, or more or less block the rain for anything except a wheelbarrow. She only did this week, but a van's got to come down here, through here, to get to my plot and remove this rubbish that I booked in January. I've been patiently waiting for the council guys to come in and collect it, and by putting this stuff here, she's effectively jumped the queue, because when they come down with the van, they have to remove her stuff first, and that is just not fair. That's not right, and there's going to be a fight, because I've had enough. They keep messing me about and not turning up, and when they do turn up, she'll jump the queue, and I'll have to wait another few months. I am not a happy bunny. I am not a happy bunny. I was fuming yesterday when I saw it, and I was fuming last night, and I'm going to certainly let her know in no uncertain terms what I think of her. I did this bed last night, but then I had to rush off. It wasn't quite finished. So I put all the tomatoes in over here, and I've put in a drip line that goes on this side and on that side, and then it'll be covered by the weed fabric. I've tested it, it all works fine, and I've got a few beans at this end, and then I'm going to put a butternut squash at this end of the bed, because I think it'll get enough sunlight over here. And I was going to clear all this and put the cucumbers and things here, but there is a bee's nest in here. Yesterday they were all buzzing about, but I think it's a little bit cold first thing in the morning, but they'll come out in a bit when it warms up a little bit more. There we go. So I've had to leave this area alone because I don't want to disturb the bee's nest. It's in there somewhere. They sort of fleet in and out, and there was a lot of them there yesterday. As soon as I started cutting this bit to get to this edge of the bed, I cut some of the brambles and things that were sticking out, but the rest of it I'll have to leave until the autumn when the bees have gone. Something has had a go at my multi-sown beetroot, and this lettuce is doing well. It just looks like really dark purple colour, lovely. And I'll just do a brick off this. The bull's blood beetroot, which I'm growing for leaves, is doing okay, and the turnips, even though they've got holes in them, I think they're probably doing alright. These were the earlier ones, so I think they might have some decent roots in them when they're ready. This bath with the baby leaf chard and baby leaf kale. The kale is doing alright. Some of the chard is doing okay. Some is a little bit sickly looking, but we'll see how it goes. These peas are coming up. In fact, they're getting to the stage where they really need to be picked. So I'll pick these peas today. Figs look great. The amaranth and the sweet corn is doing okay. Now I did get a little yellowing on some leaves when I transplanted it, but that's okay, I can live with that. Seems to be healthy enough. These peas are a little bit behind the others, looking a little bit yellow, so I might give them a bit of a feed. The celery is going gangbusters. These other peas that are in bigger container seem to be doing alright, and this pak choy and celeriac bath is doing great. And this pepper that I brought out and washed seems to be alright, but there's still a few little ones on there. So yeah, so I'll give that another wash, and I think these don't seem to be alive, but you know, that one seems to be moving. Courgettes. Now, some of them have come up a bit funny shaped, so I'm going to take those out and use those. And these are like baby courgettes, so they're fair size. So that's okay. I mean, this one, it came out funny shaped, but you see it's That's nice. So I'll be having that tonight for dinner on this bed. I mean, it's going to take a few days for things to settle in, but it should be alright. I'll just have to keep watering it and keep pulling the weeds out. Everything seems fine in the greenhouse. One tomato plant, but it was a sickly one that was probably not long for this world, but I'll put it in anyway. But I can replace that with this. I'm going to take this sucker off and put it in that pot, and that will be sorted. Aubergines galore. These are the peppers. Don't seem to have it spread to the other peppers. Oh dear. It spread to the other peppers, but these, I think the bees enough. Just take them out, give them a really good wash, and that will probably get rid of everything. The rangers have been, and they've taken a lot of the stuff, so all this area is clear. They've taken most of what was here, but they couldn't take the long pieces like baths and the long pieces of wood, and there's still a few bits left which they will take another day. Well, that's got most of it out of the way. One more trip and that will be gone, and my inconsiderate neighbour who'd blocked off this area, I've dragged the stuff back onto her plot where it should be, so this is clear for people to use. When the ranger arrived, he wasn't impressed, and John from the committee arrived at the same time, so he saw it. He wasn't impressed. She hasn't got a leg to stand on if she complains, because this shouldn't have been blocked, and she's put too much in these. The rangers can't lift them, so she's got to sort them out and keep them on her plot. But I'm a little bit happier that this area is cleared and most of this stuff's gone. And this was over there covered with nettles and comfrey, but I've put that here. So once this little bit goes, that's it. I can get on and put a fence here, put a gate here, and it'll feel a little bit more secure. I know it's not locked or anything, but it just seems that once you've got a gate and a fence, people don't feel like they can just walk in, because it just feels a bit too open, and I just feel a bit more comfortable having a fence and a gate there. Well, it's looking a bit cloudy today, so hopefully we might get a little bit of rain, because everything is parched. I mean, this grass is dry. In this area where the rubbish was, you can see it's pretty dry. And once the sun beats down on it, that little bit of moisture at the surface will disappear as well. Yeah, everything's dry. So this is one day I will not be upset if I get rained off the allotment, because we certainly need it. I have to water everything almost daily, well, some things daily, and this celery just keeps soaking up with the water. These peas aren't doing as well as these peas, and I think it's because this one is in a deeper container and they got the roots in deeper and they've got access to more water, whereas I think this is drying out every 5 minutes, so I think they're struggling on this in this one. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. They're still growing, but the bottom looks a bit yellow, but we'll see. I'll just keep watering and feeding them and see what happens. This area where the baths were, I've got these great big slabs here. I don't know what they were put in for, but where the baths were, there's this deep impression, and this part, when I watered it, the water sat there and pooled, so it was like a shallow pond in here. So I'm going to take some of this soil that's between the two, because there's a dip there and a dip there where the baths were, and then there's this mound in between them. I'll step back, you can see better probably. There's a dip here, and there's a mound there, and there's another dip there. So I'm going to use some of this to level this area, more or less. Now there is going to be a lot of bindweed roots in here, so I'm going to put some Physalis in here, and because there's a bee's nest in there, I'm not going to go in and disturb that. So I'm not going to take the gooseberries out, which means I can't put the cucumbers that I was going to put there. So that will have to wait. I'll just grow the cucumbers in buckets this year. And this side need to be weeded. I'm going to finish off this tomato bed today. It used to be a bean bed, but there's more tomatoes in there than beans now, so we'll see how it goes. But I'll mulch it, and then this is finished. And if I can get the Physalis and the cucumbers in today, I'll be happy with that. But yeah, it's looking really dark and dim. Right, that's the Physalis bed done. I keep picking bits of bindweed, just putting them out there to dry, all the bindweed roots, but it's just full of it. But I've put some cardboard down, it will still come through, but it will slow it down a bit once I've planted the Physalis in there. But it is actually good soil that was under this bath. I'm going to just give it a light touch of fish blood and bone, and it should be fine. Now they look okay. The lower leaves look black because I think I brought them into the greenhouse too early. I started them off at home, and then when I brought them into the greenhouse, the leaves went a bit black. But the top stuff, the new stuff, looks fine. The three at the front are the ones I took out of the greenhouse earlier, and these three were in the greenhouse a bit longer. And you can see the ones that got the extra heat are a little bit bigger than these ones that didn't get the extra heat. But they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I mean, the tops are all okay, so not worried about the lower leaves. And planting them is pretty simple. Pull out all the weed roots. This soil is that dry. Even though I watered it, mind you, I watered that bit, but this bit hasn't been watered, so it's a little bit drier than that bit, but I'll make sure these are well watered. Now they're a bit like tomatoes, you can bury a little bit of the stem, but not too much, because they grow a lot from the bottom, so you can. And the roots look good, so don't have to do much, just mix that in, take out the big stones, put that in, put the soil back around it, and that's it. It's simple, and I will give these a good watering when I'm done, and that'll be this lot planted. Okay, so that's this lot planted. The final step is just to give them a really good drink. As the soil is dry, I'm really giving them a lot of water, like a watering can each, to make sure that the soil is wet. I've already pre-watered this, but I'm going to keep watering it to make sure that there's plenty of water for them. I decided to add a bit more to this area. I won't call it a bed because it's not really a bed. I've added some borage, and I had a few amaranth left, so I've added 4 amaranth here and a couple of borage at that end and 3 at this end, that will add a bit more to this area. And I've excavated all the slabs on this path, so it goes up to there, which isn't quite all the way up to the end of the coal frame, but it is what it is. I've dug up all the wood chips. There's still a bit more of the carpet here that's rotten. I've got to dig that out, but all the soil and compost that was here I've dug and put into these pots and put the cucumbers in there. They were going to go where the gooseberries were, but the bees have built a nest near the gooseberries, so I'm not going to dig it up until they're finished. So I put the cucumbers and the gherkins in these pots. When they get a little bit bigger, I will put some bamboo canes in and they can climb up those, but that's for another day. Doesn't need to be done now. This bed is getting full of weeds now. I have been putting some out, but obviously this is disturbed soil, so weeds love that. So they're going bonkers. I'll get it mulched, but I'm waiting. The bindweed just will not come out. I don't want to put mulch in till some of these have got a little bit bigger, so I'll just have to keep pulling some of the early weeds, and then once it gets mulched and covered, then it'll be fine. Now these beds by the Anderson shelter and the rhubarb, I've added a bit more of what was on the path, so it's got a few bits of woody bits, but there's quite a good bit of composting underneath it. I'm going to give this a good water, and I've uncovered what's going to be the watercress bed, so I'm going to build something to shade this out, and the rhubarb is trying to get in there. So I only uncovered it yesterday, so the water's clear, but if I don't cover it up quick, it will get covered with weeds and things now that it gets the sun. So I'm going to water this. That's ready. I'm going to put something along here, because obviously you can see, well, this is not too bad because it's a loganberry, but it should be on the other side. But then there's all these bits of other brambles that are going to give me grief because they'll be coming over, so I'm going to put something there solid, and then I can get on with trying to sort this out. But it's a bit of a precarious area, this, because I'm between the bath and the rhubarb, and it never did well. This was always looked a bit sickly, but it's now doing well. Since I've put some manure on it and regularly watered it, it is going absolutely mental. Right, I've cleared this brick coal frame at the top. I've taken out all the bindweed and rubbish that was in here, and I've taken containers full of bindweed and other weeds, and I've trimmed that hedge behind it. So this is ready for planting, but the soil is like, it's just absolutely bone dry. This weekend they say it's going to be a heat wave and there might be thunderstorms, so hopefully we'll get some rain, but if we don't, I've got to really soak this before I put anything in here. If I put seedlings in here, they'll just die. I'll wait till it's got some water in there and then do that. If it doesn't rain, then I'll just have to come in and really give this ground a really good soak before I can put the plants in. And it's that hot that I didn't put any other transplants in because it's just too hot for them. They'll go to transplant shock and they'll die. I'm not going to do that. So I've been clearing the ground, organising things, pulling weeds, watering. But yeah, this is the only thing I can count as an achievement today, because everything else is just normal bog standard weeding and watering stuff really. It's roasting, and the pak choi has started to go to seed, so that's coming out, and that's going to give room for all the other things to grow. The peas are doing okay, but they're not flowering, neither are this lot. But then in this heat I'm not surprised they're not doing much. And these early ones just about done. There are a few that were smaller earlier, so I left them, so I'll get one more picking off these, and that will be that. And this bed, I cleared it Friday afternoon, not a bindweed in sight. Monday morning, and look at it. Been away 2 days. These turnips have gone over as well, so I pulled them out. But look, that trellis was supposed to be for the nasturtiums, but the bindweed has made an early claim to it. Right, this brick cold frame is planted in, and I've put these in to support the net that's going to go over it. Because this was riddled with bindweed, I've used a weed fabric. I'll just cut holes in and put the plants through. So that should slow down the bindweed. And then I'm going to put some mulch on top of that, basically to protect the weed fabric, because obviously if it's out in the sun it will deteriorate quickly. Some bindweed will come through and give me problems, but I'll have to live with that. And these onions that I've interplanted are a little bit sickly looking because they've been sitting in the pot waiting to go in, and it's taken me longer than I thought. If they produce anything, that's all good and well. If not, I haven't lost anything. So I've got some kohlrabi, some wok brock, then I've got some Italian leaves, and then I've got lettuces and then spring onions interplanted in between them. So we'll see what happens. But it's been so hot that a lot of the brassicas have gone over. I've had to rip out all the bok choy because that had gone to seed, and these turnips have all gone to seed. There's some beetroot here that's doing fine, but all these turnips have gone to seed. I tried one the other day, it was like eating horseradish. So they're no good. I'll pull these out and give the beetroots a bit more room to grow. And I've got other stuff going well, but the lettuce is going gangbusters. So this is the first lot. Now it's the same variety as there. It's called Bijou. So I've got a few more to follow on. When these go over, those will carry on into, should be more or less autumn. So I'm going to put some mulch on top of this, and this bed as well needs a good mulch. I mean, this one is still got a lot of bindweed. We know it's going to give me a hard time, but the plants here are a bit more further apart, so I'm going to put some cardboard in. And then I've got this stuff in a small bin that is sitting there, but it's mostly conifer clippings. Sweetcorn is doing well. These, the bottoms look sickly, but the tops look alright, so it's settled in and it's flowering, so we'll see what happens. Got a load more wood chips arrived, so I can do a bit more mulching now. I've grabbed a load and I'll do a bit more mulching. Well, finally the rubbish is gone. This area is all clear, and I can get on and sort stuff out. So I can put stuff here, get rid of this stuff, and can now get in, sort out this area. They've left some of this wood. I think they left it because it's wood that's not painted, so they leave that stuff and say, well, burn it yourself. We'll get on with this in a bit. And things are going well. Now they've had some rain, apart from the celery, which is drunk on its water. Sweetcorn, I'll say knee high, but look, it's waist high, and it's not the 4th of July yet. That bird's gone bonkers, but so have the weeds, so that needs a good weed. Some of the beans are picked up and going. Tomatoes are still looking a bit sickly, but hopefully they'll pick up. These are now going great. This bed that I planted the other day, fine. Lettuce and the beetroot, so we've got beet leaf miner on it. Little beggars. This bed of kale and chard is doing okay, and the landcress is doing okay, apart from bindweed trying to get in. I'll plant the watercress in there later today, hopefully. And the greenhouse is doing fine. The tomatoes are going. The basil is ready for another crop. These two died off. Well, seem to have died off from the top, but this one, it seems to be coming back from the bottom, so I'll leave that one. And these ones are okay. Well, not so easy, but that can come off. Yeah, these are doing alright. The chilies, this one's alright. The peppers are alright. Yeah, I'm happy with it.